guys, how's it going? A long time no see as this vehicle has been hiding in the background of all my videos. Quick backstory and we'll get into it. So this is a 1965 Econoline pickup truck, and I think they call them a Super Spring Special, which made it so it was a 5-window coupe. It had some chrome down the sides of it, chrome front rear bumpers, and a couple other doodads. They fancied it up a little. Anyway, I picked it up. It was sitting for a long period of time in a yard outside. It had 4 flat tires sunk in the ground, a bunch of crap in the bed of the truck, not running, just needing a bunch of love. And we went hot and heavy on it for about 4 months, and then I lost steam on it for a couple of different reasons. But we are in the process of picking back up on it. I actually been working on the truck on the side of doing the other videos, not filming on it because it goes much faster. And I'll give you a quick rundown of what's been happening, and then we're going to get back into trying to reassemble it and get it more back to life, and hopefully get it ready to rock and roll and run it around this spring. So we did engine work, starter, brakes, master cylinder, brake lines, all that kind of stuff was done all the way around. It got it up, putting around, and the body was really rotted out, and a bunch of those repairs were done on video. And it's basically the bottom. See, the bottom 6 inches all the way around was rotted out, so the front section was gone. That rail all the way across the bottom, we made that. I think we did this whole wheel well over, and then going around the corner. I bought the corners, a bunch of the other stuff I made. Below the tailgate in the back, that was all rotted out. Made those pieces where the bumper still has to go on. And I think we did a patch in the center of the floor. It was rotted. Right there, you can kind of see the outline of it. Bent that up on the brake and made our own patch panel for the center of that. Corners, I think we made some corner material on both of them. Got fancy with a bead roller and all, and made some patches for it. And then the same on the other side. We did a corner. I didn't show you this on video. It was pretty much the same as the other side. I didn't want to repeat myself. But made patch panels, 6 inches from the top down. Made those pieces going across. Some sections around the wheel well, and then again in the front wheel, the bottom of the door there. Made all those pieces and up, I don't know, about 6-8 inches here and somewhere around here. Made these panels, these lines. Came out pretty good. I painted it with just spray bombs for now. At some point, it actually looks pretty good. It actually looks better than what was on the truck, but it's not a 2-stage paint, So it's that's what they did. And that's what I did. And it is, I think, all Chalmers orange. Just kind of matched the body up pretty good. I figure at some point we can get to if I ever get to that point, I'll sand and straighten the rest of there's nicks and dings all over it, So the problem is sometimes if you stall too long and you make the project so long, it just never gets done. So I kind of sped it along, did all the metal work, seam sealed everything, bondoed everything, sanded it, and then just sprayed bombed it down with that. So it got it to the point where it's almost to the point we could run and drive it. Here, I'll show you some of the rust that was on it. Give you an idea. You see the cancer that was in on those. That's the wheel well, one side, and then the lower drops and sections, and here's the corners are all blown out of it. So it's all metal, and on the inside too. There's drops that go up on the inside. They're all been replaced also. I ran around with some satin black paint. Painted the bare steel in the wheel wells, front, rear, where the gas tank goes in the middle. We do not have a gas tank in it, and that's where we're going to kind of jump forward today with trying to move forward. We have a radiator that we have to get in that does not fit. We're going to have to try to make that fit. And the biggest thing is a gas tank. They do not make a gas tank, or they didn't anyway, for this. That would be a direct replacement. But a Mustang gas tank is roughly the same size. So here's the original tank, closest to you, and then the gas tank of a Mustang. Indoor Cougar, a little deeper. I think that one's 2 gallons more or something, a couple of gallons more. But the biggest thing is, you can see where that's where the gas goes in on the truck, and then on a Mustang, you would flip the gas above the license plate. There's a cap that you would lift and you would have to fill there. So we can't use that, and we need one of those over there. Plus, we also need probably this. This is like a breather, because when you're putting gas, normally in that tank, when you're filling gas in, air just comes, the air is able to escape where you're filling the gas up with. On this one you can't, because it goes, once the fuel level comes up to here, you're not going to be able to get any more fuel down in there and have the air be able to escape from the tank. It has no place to go. So what they did is they put a breather in it. Well, we got to make that tank kind of look like this tank. So we're going to get started on that, see how far we get, if we get to the radiator and stuff, and get closer to having this one ready to put around this spring. Without further ado, let's get some wrenching done. Let's have some fun. So just in case everything just turns terribly wrong, I'm going to try not to take anything from this tank. I do have a spare over there. It is out of a Cougar, and it's somewhat rusty inside, but maybe we can cut sections of that to use on this tank. Let's go figure out where this goes and where we can try to match up on that corner. So yeah, so I think we'll go with that Cougar gas tank. Maybe we'll cut this section of it out right around here, and we'll use this neck to try to scab, instead of trying to butt weld it up, we'll lay over the top of a hole. Let's go see what the inside of this one looks like. Yeah, it's pretty crunchy, but it doesn't look like anything's going to catch on fire when we cut into it. It's been empty for a long time. Alright, let's go see if we can carve ourselves out. That's not rust. Is that rust? That might be just paint, like Galvy. That might be Galvy when they welded it. And just so we're clear on gas tank, here's the old one that was in it. It is leaking physically right through here. There's holes in it. It's all rotted. And the inside of this one is pretty bad. I mean, we could repair it and use it if we have to. I since built a tumbler for it, but let's go see if we can get a nice fresh tank instead. Don't look too bad on the other side. I'm going to go take a minute and clean that up on a wire wheel. And I don't know if that's welded together or brazed. Gotta have a clean hole. Looks pretty good. Noise behind us is the snow pouring off the ceiling. Well, it's raining now because it's 50 something degrees out. It was 17 a week ago. So that one is on an angle. I don't know what's that, maybe 8 degrees on an angle, and the sheet metal over here is pretty much straight up and down. So we're gonna have to try to figure out how to make us get a little bit of a lean that direction. Here's my thoughts, and let me know what you think. I wonder if we're better off, trimming this down, cutting our hole, welding it around it, and then maybe we'll stick something in the nozzle and try to bend it a little bit. I think if I'm gonna, try bending this, I'm gonna have a very hard time trying to clamp and get the metal flush all the way around it. And here's what they did. It's like when it was run through the press, they just pressed it. It looked like it was the same tank, but they indent going around it. Well, let's go figure out where that hole goes, and we'll drill that, and we'll kind of set it on there, and maybe we'll figure it out. I wonder if maybe, maybe we could just tack it and try seeing if it'll bend. Let's go see how thick this is. Figure out where. Get a hole saw. So we are from the lip to the bottom of it. It's 4.5 inches. I don't know if we even have the room on the other one. So yeah, it's right. Yeah, it's right on the cusp of it. And I have to go kick it up a little. So that's 4, and it's actually right now like right there. It's right on the. I think this tank, although this one's got a little bit more volume, I think they kind of swapped it around a little bit, where this is probably up an inch and this is down an inch the other direction, you know, it would have been more squared off. It'll fit. Kind of wondering, what's your thoughts? Is there anything that's stopping us from taking this fuel tank and doing that with it, rotating it 180 and installing it? So in other words, we can, you know, on the bottom end, but we could put the filler neck right there. I know the fuel sending unit will be facing backwards. Well, they could think of it, you know, in a wreck. They don't want that there. Hey, we got a breather right there. We could probably use that. Good, there's one problem solved. Oh no, that's the drain. I was like, oh yeah, look. Yeah. And then now we'll just move that on the other side of it. Will that cause us any issues? Let's go look under the truck. Maybe we'll try to mock that gas tank up and make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're going under. All right. So the gas tank sits in this section of frame right here. And interestingly enough, they have these trucks had a problem where if you hit the brakes too hard and there's nothing in the back tires would come off the ground. And so they're fixed for it. I think it was actually a recall. They put a big slab of steel. That's like an 1.5 inch thing, thick by about 3 feet long by about 1 foot wide. I think it's about 200 pounds. So this thing just hauls like 150, 200 pounds around its whole life just for nothing. So it looks like it stands, like it touches there and there, and probably, yeah, it looks like right here on these pads on the weight itself. This is the line for the fuel sending unit. These are the gas tank straps. Somebody made these. Let's get rid of these. They're crappy. They're not going to fit anyway because the tank's a different size. Let's go cut them out. There's our fuel out. So that may be an issue because it's going to come where the sending unit is. Let's get some of this crap cut out of here and we'll set the tank up in, maybe we can get like a ratchet strap or something to hold it. And maybe we'll try feeding the neck in and see where that lines up over here. Maybe we can tweak things a little. See a benefit already. We flop it around. Just cap off that upper hose, the fill. Yeah, let me go get something to. We're rocking on that fill. Let me get something to support this. Well, other than the safety aspect of it, it kind of works out pretty good that there's room for that fill. We could just put a cap on it with and screw it shut, you know. And the other problem is too, the drain is going to be right near. We're still going to need to be like right here. Let's go throw. The nozzle goes up in there and comes down. I think it went through the leaf spring perch of it. Let's go grab it and shove that in the hole. Well, it seems that has seen better days too. It's a bunch of, it's just gone. So we'd have to cut back at least 2 inches on that and weld some kind of elbow. I wonder if we can get like an exhaust elbow and, you know, cut back to here, and then if we go straight on the tank, let's go get it in there and get a better idea. I wonder if we can use like an elbow to bridge the gap and we could tweak on the gas tank. It appears to come in behind the leaf spring. Oh, that's the greatest situation either. Kind of see it's screwed together up top. So we've got a little bit of movement. We can kind of go play with it. So if it were here, I'd say we'd have to come in I think the center of it's right about there. And again, we're gonna have to cut this off anyway, so if we have to tweak the direction that we face it, we can. Let's, I'm kind of thinking, safety-wise, give me Pinto vibes to get rear-ended in the tank, rupturing the line, rupturing and having it kick out. But I'm like, also, they ran this right here. It's this exact same thing. You have a rubber coupler right at the gas tank at a low level, so if there's any kind of rupture, all the gas comes out of the tank. So, I don't know. Let's flip it around. I think I'm gonna maybe I'll cut that nozzle, because right now it's up as far as it would go. We have the fill in the center right now clears. It's got room up in there because of the way it's spaced. And we spin it around, we're going to be where the weight is hitting that. Let me go whip it around. The inner is flipped around. Again, we're not up all the way now. We're probably about an inch and a half from the back of the tank going up to where it's supposed to. We are that far from being all the way up. 2. So this looks like it pretty much where we needed to land, right here. This has a little bit of, that's about it though. We top out right there. So I say we kind of leave the position it is, and let's try and make something happen as close to this area as we can. Unfortunately, we're right on that ball. I didn't want that. Shit. Oh, that was a good one. Fresh meat. Smooth. Try it again. I'm gonna make a... Are we 2 for 2? Fine. I don't think it'll work. Let's go for an inner and an outer pattern. We'll try to leave the inner one was what we need, because I'm going to try welding right to that lip. And the reason why I left the thing in the air and not made the patch over the top, the metal sticker on the neck compared to the tank base. So I think we're just having a better chance of not pissing through. Yeah, so we need down to that line essentially. Yeah, we got a little patch made up. That looks pretty good. Should be able to get a decent weld on that all the way around. We'll start with a couple of tacks just to hold it down, and then we'll buzz it in. Sometimes if it's a little oversized, we don't have enough room here, but you can just leave it larger. You put like 2 tacks on it, and then you just go around it with a sander, and you sand right up to the edge, and you get like a perfect fit. It ain't liking welding on that stuff. think we got it pretty good. I'm gonna go run around it with a grinder, just knock the top edge off of it up here a little bit. I'll knock that down. Maybe we'll jump over to doing the upper port. We know we have to go and put that vent in somewhere, so maybe we'll try to find like a plumbing elbow and weld one in there. Now we need to make something like that, elbow coming up out of this rib, right about here or so. Go shopping in my plumbing toolbox, see if we can find something that we could use instead of cutting that one off. And a little shopping. Need something with an elbow on it. And it's all brass. We need, let's get something that's brass that we can attach. Do you think? Kind of the opposite of that we need, right? We want to weld we can weld that part down to the tank or something thereof, and then come with like thread an elbow over that. Let me hunt a little more, see what I can find. I know I got some steel stuff. Yeah, some more straights. Keep that in mind. So we need something with an elbow on it, made of steel. These are kind of like scrappy Volkswagen parts. Let's go see if there's anything that, this is a vent tube for the crankcase. It's steel on the thin side. One of those elbows might work. Anything about two. The problem, the exhaust goes through them, so on the inside of them, they get pretty rusty. Let's go try with the that one. Let's go. We got two. We can make two of them. We got one there, and we have one right here. Let's see how we do. It's maybe a little bit larger. We should be able to make that piece out of that. Let's go for it. We'll trim. We'll cut it right here, right above the hole, and then we'll make the turn. We'll cut it right here because this one screws up. We still have another one we can use. And something like, still warm. A little tall. I think we're okay. We have about 2 inches up above it, and that, you know, off where the weight is. Let's go find our markings on this tank. We probably just drill a small hole. We don't need to go very big because it's only air that needs to be able to travel out of it as much as you're pumping in and when you're displacing. It might knock a hair more. I don't think we need much more than that. Again, it's just air has to be able to flow out of the tank as it's getting filled. I say we go for it. Fine, one bigger. Picky. Smoke them if you got them. All right, let's go move on to getting a over there. Yeah. So we need that there. My first thought was kind of, you know, we drill the hole and then we can just fold the outer shell down around it and, you know, attach it to the tank. I don't know if we're going to be able to accomplish just that. I think that's probably about the best we're going to go get it. And again, we're going to adjust by, we have to cut the end of that other piece. So, and there's a rubber hose that goes in between. It's not like it's doesn't have any kind of flex to it. Let's see if we can find a hole saw that's that size, and we'll just commit and drill a hole and wing it from there. Shopping. Which one is it? Drill bitty hole saw. One that says hole saw? There you go. Back on up. We're gonna have probably the biggest one here, right? That is like right on the money. Okay. Don't even have to put it in a fixture. We are going to do the high-tech approach of this. I'm gonna say I want it. Bar. We're going to say the middle of it is carpenter's eye, right there. Let me get it started with the little one. Good. I don't want this thing chattering all around. We'll turn it back now. We got the hole cut down there. It's the last time we're going to be able to clean it out. So I was going to run some air. You know, getting a little last chips. I'm going to run a magnet down the bottom too, but get last little chips on it because that's the last weld. So I say we should probably take this one and trim it to about 3/4 of an inch. How's that? Perfect, really round. Like take 3/4 of an inch and we'll make that, we can kind of tap the flange down as we need it and weld it. I think any more than that, it's just, you know, it's not really gonna help us at all. Yeah, let's go for that. So a slight miscalculation on my part. I thought those were welded together. They are soldered together. That's why it looks all funky. I thought it was like the paint, or the Galpy that they put on it. And that, if you try to weld next to it, that solder is going to run in and you're just going to get a crappy weld on it. And plus it's probably going to undo the solder. Solder. Let's go look for a piece of pipe, possibly, that I could weld into that hole. Now that hole is going to be a little on the too large side. Yeah, I was looking at it. Yeah, that's the same diameter. And we'd have to go that much larger. And if we did that, the rubber hose that would go on it would be the wrong size to go connected to the filler lip. So let's go put a marker on this with a Sharpie and start hammering this flange down to kind of start taking the contour of it. So let's go with, I don't think it really matters. These two touched ground already, so let's go with that. I don't know if I can get a clamp on it. Yeah, maybe. I don't think so. Let me go start working it down. And keep working that until we get it as snug as possible. I wouldn't say perfect, but it's decent. I'm thinking I pulled it down as far to this corner too, so that it's kind of facing that direction we wanted it to. And yeah, it's got some rock to it, what the issue is. I'm gonna go clean those surfaces up, we'll flux them up. I got a big ass soldering iron. We will try and see if we can generate enough heat to get it to wick between the two of them. And you want her clean. Hit it with some acetone. Not kick any fumes to the inside though, huh? I got bit. I was hammering on the flange around here. And I had my hand like this and I wham! So I slivered off a little. Alright. And now I erased my marks. I think we'll be able to figure it out. Let's go flux her. This stuff could use a little bit of heat. I'm gonna go warm this thing up a little bit. I just held a torch about, you know, the flame part 6 inches away. Just so you can kind of see it like glossing over. Gotta make a surface credit. Yeah, now we're overdoing it. I'm gonna do the same to the other piece just to make sure. Dun-dun. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. So I'm going to take a torch and I'm going to heat this up like that, so this gets nice and hot. Then I'm going to hold this to here and have hopefully its heat transfer enough where I can go flow some shada in there. Let's go see. Let's see if we got it hot enough. I know I can transfer solder onto it, but give us a little for heat transfer. It's a little cold. I'm blocking your view. I'll give it a second. I don't want to put the torch on the tank. It's just going to burn. Sometimes it makes just more of a mess. Let me just go. If you can get a tack on it on one side, I can work it. Yeah, I think we need more heat. I should be able to like blend that like lead that it is. Instead of letting it, you know, melt on the iron and running cold, you need a little more heat in the bottom. So I'm going to work on that. I also have a regular soldering iron that's like this, that's plugged in. It's heating up over there. We're going to see if that will do anything better. But heat this one up a little bit more. I think also once you get a little bit conducted across, it helps the heat transfer. Like even if you're heating now on the upper side here. I am going to keep working that. I think that might work for us. Let it get hot first. And then give her a, let it run to the inside. I am going to do that for the next however long that takes. I probably move that clamp down now to the lower section. From here, looks fine. Just as you get closer. I end up going with the torch and heating it up. Kind of like you go with the torch and just kind of like work your way around. And if I probably would start with that, would have been a much cleaner job. It definitely looks like But even like where it's lifted, I just tried to backfill and bridge it. Hopefully it's all soldered in between here. That's the idea, not just on the lip. But I also went around. That's why it's so messy on the outside. That the lip had solder trying to bridge it. If I had to do that again, I would do that different. All right, we are to what point? I wonder if, let's go get the sending unit and shove that in the hole. Maybe we can, I don't know if we can plug the larger ones up and maybe put a little bit of pressure in it, see if it'll hold. Or, you know, spray some water on them and see if they bubble. Let's go see what's in the box that I bought years ago. There's the retaining ring. Y2 O-rings. That's a little, so they're used to. If they're two of the same, and then what do you do? It's like an inner and an outer. So I know this is gonna ratchet over the top of it. You know, this is goes in the hole and locks everything in while it's in there. I wonder if we have one, maybe there's one above and one below. Should we look at the one that we took that's in the other gas tank? Right, well, that's the bottom of the tank, right? It's got to go in like that because that's the pickup for the fuel. So that's the empty tank, that's full tank. Let's kind of looks like one should go there. You wouldn't put another one on top, would you? That's upside down. I heard you. I don't know, well, I guess if you can get it with tension, right? I'm gonna work on them, just make sure. So it's got keys, it has to go in a certain way. It gets keyed in. Sure it does. There's our way out. Let's do that. Yeah. So that's it right there. Let's go try it without that. Because what's that? It's not sealing anything. One thing you think of is to make sure it's got enough down pressure. And then you would just keep tapping that till it got tighter and tighter. Let's go hit it with a hammer and a screwdriver. That's about it. I'd say it's loose, but I think if we try putting that one on the other side of it, I think maybe it would have been too much pressure. I don't think we would have got it. Plus, I think we just would have kind of slid out of there. Maybe there's one if you screw one up. All right, I'm gonna go see what I can do for plugging up some holes, and maybe we can try using that for the pressure. Maybe missed a spot. Got it now. So I got two of them plugged up. This and the large one. Let's go spray some water on it, and we can back through the fuel line out. Just looking for any bubbling. Bubbling around the cork is the only place. And you see, the only place where bubbling is right there, and that part is fine. But we got the fun one to go try now. Let's go see how that one does. Time for the big boy. What I'm most concerned about. That's bulging the tank a little, so. Anything? Whoop. Uh-oh. That wasn't good. Oh, I suck. Yeah, but it don't leak. Do we blow both sides? All right, I'm gonna try working some, oh no. she's a 25-gallon tank now. Shit. And I don't know if it's the lower level or the upper level. Alright guys, well today is a new day and hopefully it goes better than yesterday. This is a vacuum pump and the idea of this is when you run an AC unit, you have to draw a vacuum on the system and then you reintroduce Freon or propane, whatever your refrigerant is, and they don't like moisture, oxygen, either one I don't think is very good for it. So this, I'm going to try and figure out if we can get a way to adapt the pump part of it to the tank and possibly see if we can kind of get the tank to squish back together again and hopefully not go the other way. If so, at least it'll be entertaining. I did find out too that the gas tanks are now available. They're only $429 plus another $60 shipping. So let's see what we can do first on this. So in my goodie bag, I have a stash of different things I ordered for different aspects of running the vacuum pump, and one of them was this adapter right here. So I think what we can do is we'll sacrifice one of these. We'll take the valve stem out of that. And we could probably take a piece of hose or fuel line from this. Looks pretty close to the diameter of that, and we could hook the two of them up to it without any leaks. So how many of you betting it's going to go the other way and suck completely flat like a pancake? See what happens. Need like a big vise we could squeeze it in, you know? I don't think it's gonna do anything. I think we need to try to figure out a way to try to crush it. I'm gonna let it go for a little bit, see if we can get anything. Sucking that cap in pretty good. There we go. Won't move. I think it's gonna go the other way. I don't think it's gonna bend the way we want it to. And it's just got so much restriction right here. I wonder if we could try to work this lip. I don't know if we can put something across it and try pulling from the center of it. I think it's just trying to fight that so much. I think we're just going to end up denting the bottom up more than the top. I just don't think we're ever going to be able to push down enough on it. It's going to slip out too. Let's try one more of that one. We're just going to end up with a big dent in the center. Well, it's already junk. Try it. I think we're fighting a lost cause. I was so close. And I destroyed it. Shit. Shit. See? Should really put something right here. Ugh. Yeah, blue. The bottom actually looks pretty good. That's the part that we see, right? I don't remember how much of a hump was here. But I guess there was something, it wasn't flat, right? I gotta keep working on it. Part of me wants to give up, and part of me says no. Fight it to the end. So I think if I would have started by doing that, instead of putting the board going across, and I didn't put this crease inside here, I would have had it. Only thing I'm thinking possibly we can try and do now, I wonder if we can, like, we'll just lower the lift so it's, you know, not so high to the ground. I don't know why I'm even trying to go do it like that. Let's go, and if we put a board going across there, and a board going across there, we put up against the lift to hold down pressure on it. I wonder if we gave it a little bit of air, if that center would pop back up again, or do you think I'm just going to totally wipe it out all again? I mean, we could almost use it the way it is right now. If we were able to get this area fixed a little bit more, which I think if we push down here, I don't know. I'd like to get this stuff, you know, do a little popping back up. I'm gonna keep trying. The bottom side looks pretty good. It's got a dent in one spot of it, but other than that, it's not too bad. And I also noticed on the other tank, they rolled the flanges down all the way around. And I wonder if that's kind of give it strength, because normally this would bolt to a floor, and this one, again, it's being held up by straps. So I wonder if they rolled that on purpose to give a little bit of rigidity to the edges. And maybe we can do that to try to straighten out the edges. Let's continue with trying to get that dent out. We're gonna go try that. Let's hit it with some air. See what it does. Actually, you know what? Let's go for a third one. And my thinking is, we'll control how far up it could pop, you know? It could only go up to hit the piece of wood, boom, instead of like trying to hyperextend like it did last time. So I'm ain't agreeing. Nothing. Seems it wants to roll that edge. If I turn it the other way and wonder if we could put boards under here. Let's go a little tighter. What's up, forklift? Try one more time before we. Well, it kind of rolled, but then relaxed itself again. This came up. Wonder if we can get something. No, that's just gonna rip out. I wish this one would come up. One of you would work the air gun while I was working the hammer. This would go a lot easier. This came up pretty decent. Go see what it does when we let it down. Big one right there in the center. If this pops up, will that get worse? Or will it give this metal someplace to go? Leave that middle one out. Like it never happened. As long as you don't look at it, you're fine. And you know, we're on the bright side. That's the top. You don't see any of that. If I didn't put that dent down the center of it, I think I would have been able to get her back about 90%. And I probably should have laid like a blanket or something underneath. But the bottom side's fine. I drew a vacuum on it, and I must say it does hold vacuum. I have a sealer. I am going to run around some of the joints. I would have figured we would have blown apart from all that flexing on it. But I got a sealer I picked up. So we just kind of go over the joints just in case. Seal all. Well, it's going to try to. Well, we're back under the belly of the beast and just kind of finalizing some stuff that I need to get done before I try putting it up. I clipped this back and I made a new connector. I think this went to like a fatter end that was on it. So I have something off the tank that has a fat going to a skinny metal barb that fits just right on that. And I think we're going to go, the tank's going to touch on these 4 locations here. Same one over there. And then on the weight itself, it looks like it touches right here. So I'm going to go take some either leather or maybe like old serpentine belt, and I'll glue it to those so it has a little bit of cushion, especially after all the hell it's been through. I just cleaned off the end of the fuel line. I think we should probably blow through that and see what kind of cobwebs come out of there. And then we got to make, once we get the gas tank up, I have some straps from, keep it clean. I got some straps from, this is from a Dodge pickup for gas tank, and I think we're going to try to utilize those. We could possibly make it hook into where the factory hook was up there, and then on the other end it just has these clamps with a bolt hole in the center of it, and I'm sure the length of them is going to be wrong, so we could just cut them and we'll put the correct piece of steel length in between. Then we'll be able to crank down on the end of this. I might do I might line these with something too, some kind of leather or whatever material. So I think I'm going to jump ahead so we can start getting this thing done. I am running out of time as usual. Something came up, which took more time than not. Let me go look up by the fuel pump, see if this is even connected, see if I'll shoot some air in the front and we'll blow this out, and maybe we'll shove some like a WD or something in there. See if we even get airflow through that first. Where's that fuel pump hiding? There. So it has a, so this is the line that we ran for a temporary tank. Where is the steel one? I think it's right below it. Yeah, there it is right there. I'm gonna replace that anyway, but let's go shoot some air through that See if we can get a tui out of the other end of it. Well, something came out. Where the straps go is a little recess on both sides of the tanks. I'm starting to put those in. Just grabbing them with some big pliers. Giving it a yank. Add to the dents. Of course, they're two different sizes. If I take and add 5 inches to that one and remove 5 inches from this one, they should both make it to the bolt. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to come up on this one 10 inches and cut it. On that one I'm going to go up 5 inches and cut it. Put that one over here, try to weld it together, and then do the same on that one. See how close we get. So the tank is finally in place. I ran the line up over the top for the fuel gauge and the hose that is plugged in for the air capacity. Now we got to deal with this, make this match up with that. Kind of, sort of. We still have a rubber boot that can go on and give us some flexibility, but I think I'm gonna go look and see what I have for exhaust with some like bends in it and see what we can come up with to make this try to get a little bit closer to there. I thought we checked out before there was a pipe here. A couple of funky bends in. I think it was this setup. Let me dig this out. Kind of wondering if we could use, we kind of actually need like an S though. Too bad that's there, huh? Let me keep looking, maybe I have something else. We didn't find anything much better. Let's go try and cut it like right here and right there and see if we can wiggle that into some kind of something. Yeah, see, the problem is I need like the letter S, not a C. So I think we can, yeah, if we put the rubber hose on that end, and I'm wondering if we cut the debris left on there, maybe we put a rubber hose on both sides instead of trying to welding it, and it will give us that little bit of play. Yeah, I don't think that angle is going to be very great as far as it lined up. Plus, I don't know height-wise. This one's going to have to tilt down a little. Let me take the Sawzall. I'm going to go cut this back. We have to cut it back anyway. It's already junk. And let's see how this kind of fits. We really, again, like I said, it's like the letter S. We need it to go like that. And then we come further back with this. But I don't have anything with those two tight bends on it. I can tell you I don't like it, but I think we're going to have to go with it for now. So it was going to go something like, I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to shave these edges back a little, and I got the rubber boot. I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to see if we could make that bridge on both sides and clamp it, see how we like it. If we don't, we're going to have to come up with something that is the letter S. And the other thing I was kind of thinking of is we were to take this, we were to slice it in half and rotate, make one half 180 out, it'll give us that S. But I'm trying not to have another weld in the middle of it, having a fail point. But let me see how we make on this. I'm going to clean it up a bit, give it a little bit finer fit, and cut that boot off and throw some clamps on it, see what it does. I think we should dump a gallon of gas in it. See what we get. Let's start with that. That's how much confidence I got. Yeah, check for wetness. Oh, let's go a little more. It's got a drain plug on it. Alright, I think I got cocky now. See if we get to go home vindicated or the agony of defeat. So right now gas should be sitting in here. There shouldn't be anything else. I never put a wrench on that drain plug to see on that. Let's go give her a couple of gallons. There's 2.5 gallons left in this. Let's just do the whole thing. That way we can look too at that sending unit on the front. So we got about maybe 3 gallons in it. So we should have probably about this much in the bottom of the tank right now, which is enough to submerge. This should be pretty much full. Let's go lift it up in the air so we can get under and look at that one over there. Well, I am going to go put a big pail underneath this, and I'm going to go home and think I won, and even if it does start to leak over the night, at least I'll have a good night. That was easy. Yeah, you can definitely feel it's got some. I don't know what the capacity of the tank is. I think I got it for a 65 Mustang was the same. 16 gallons maybe. Something like that. A couple little dings here and there we won't talk about. Alright, I'm going to go put a pail underneath this thing. We'll let it sit overnight and we'll see if we have any issues with it. If not, we can come back in the morning. We'll hook the front up to the fuel pump and we'll crank it over. Maybe we'll fire it up and let it run some fuel out of the front, and until we get like the fuel line clean and whatever contaminants that we got going on. We get clean gas and we'll hook it up to the carb. And it's the next morning. So far we're looking good. See nothing wet on the floor. It's probably the area that we're most concerned about. Yeah, we look alright. I think that was the stain from before, just the oil stain that is on it. Everything is hooked up. Let's go up front. And I think I have the fuel pump connected to a little tiny can. Let's hook that up to the gas tank and see if we can crank it over and get some fresh fuel going through it. Alright, so that's what we were running off of, that little can right there. Run it up, goes down to the fuel pump, and then gets fed back up to the carb. Let's disconnect that. Actually, let's go see if it'll fire up. a very little bit left in it. Let's go fire it up. It hasn't been a year or two. Make sure we're kind of good on that. We'll put a jumper pack on the leads and we'll give her a crank and see what happens. Try to. The gas gauge is moving, showing an 1/8 of a tank. Woohoo! Alright, we gotta do that. Gas pedal work. Oh. It's in gear. Oh, there's your problem. Let's go find a better place for ground. It's not liking that. Honest, I'm not trying to stall. Oh, it's like I wanted to go too. How about now? Give her some choke. There we go. Nice. It ain't like when I turn the choke off. It's probably just too cold. Awesome. She fires right up. Let's get that fuel line from that fuel pump off of here. We'll take that one off and we'll run it up to a jar or something. We'll run it a little bit. Make sure we're getting clean fuel coming through that crappy fuel line. Yeah, she lives. So, it's got a little bit of pressure. And a little bit of yellow fuel coming out of it too. This is what's coming out of the fuel pump. Unfortunately, it's dribbled on the motor. I gotta take an air gun. I'm gonna blow some of that away so that we're not gonna have ourselves a nice little. We've had enough issues with fuel. Let's go put a piece of fuel line on this, and we'll run it into a water bottle. We'll take pretty much a urine sample. And now I don't have the choke on, so maybe it won't start. Let's go see. Yes, kind of what I wanted to get rid of. I didn't want any of that going down through it. So let me go purge that out. We'll do it a couple of times until we get some clear gas coming out of it. That's probably what's been sitting in the fuel pump, plus that fuel line from front to rear. All the crud that's in it. And maybe we'll give it some choke and it should start. So I try to kill the starter, you know, in the jumper pack. That's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. Let's go hook that fuel line back up to it. Yeah. And we are now hooked back up. Let's go see if we can fire her up. Let it warm up a little bit. See how that. Plus we'll let it run with get some of that cleaner fuel going in. You know, that other stuff is pretty yellow. I want to see if it idles. Sounds good though, huh? Let's go over the other side. Somewhere. Sure it does. run out of gas. Here is some more choke. Get better or worse? Got worse. Might have dirt in it too, you know. Yeah, it has been sitting. We did that carb a couple of years ago. The ignition is all the way to the other side. Pull choke. Fuel the gas. We got no power right now. No, the charging system's working. It's got no ground. Come on. Damn. You did a good one. Give me a minute. Choke on. What'd you do? Looks like it's got plenty of fuel. Yeah, she's squirting. I have other issues. Because we're just loading up. Too much choke, maybe? Yeah, I think we got dirt in the carb. Let's try turning the air fuel mix out a little. Sometimes you could dislodge the dirt by, let's go with one of those. Give her a couple. Keep it idle. Stay running. Gonna let that run for a minute. I don't know if we ain't got any coolant in it. I know the radiator was leaking. Oh, we got fluid in it. Good. I do think it was leaking though. I remember why I got another radiator. I think it was pissing right out of the front of it somewhere. I'm gonna go turn the fans on. We'll let this run a little bit and purge some air through the garage and see what it does. That's been running a few minutes. Let's see if we can find a sweet spot for that. We're almost back where it was. See if it dies. Run it until it dies. That's getting crappy there. It must have had a little bit of dirt on the end of that. Leave it right there. Sounds like it's not working very hard. I don't even know what the state of the tune-up is neither. It's been so long. I figured we would have went through that stuff, you know, did plugs, wires, points. There was a tune-up kit that was in here, whether I found that at a swap meet or something and just threw it in the truck, or it still needs to be done, I don't know. We'll rev her up and see. So it is charging. What we got for gauges? I don't know if we got a temp gauge or not. So our gas gauge is working. Temp gauge, looks like it's up off the cold a little bit. When you turn the key off, you alternate the light and the oil light does work. That I worked on the other day. But I'll let it run a few more minutes. And take that away from the exhaust. And I think, I don't know, we had such great luck working on that gas tank. What's your thoughts on the radiator? I'm gonna try to tackle that. The biggest thing, I don't know about the mounting hardware and all that. I kind of did a tape measure on it and looked for what size it was and got something that was fairly close to it. But I think the hose on the upper side is out of the other direction and the cap might be over here. I'm not sure of that. Or the bottom, one of them was wrong. I don't remember. We got to go look at it. Alright, I'm going to let it run about another 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm going to take a quick peek underneath. Make sure there's nothing happening with any spillage. Nice. Yeah, the temp gauge is definitely moving. It's coming up. Let's take a look at what we got. So the bottom is on the left, the top is on the right. Why does that look correct? All right then. We'll go with whatever it wants to go play with. Fine. Maybe we're getting a reprieve from before with its issues. Still cold in the radiator though. Let's go pop it in gear. I think that's second. Might be first. That should be second. That should be third. Temp's halfway up. The gear shifter is really gooey. You lift up and down on the shifter, so we got to go shoot some lube or something in that. Yeah. So you go to shift and move this leg. So you should be able to lift up and down on this. And it's like really gummy. So that's reverse first, then down, but it doesn't want to go. And then the brake pedal, she's a little on the mushy side too. All that stuff's new. Mass cylinders new, all the lines are new. It is pumping up. See if anything leaks. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is kind of subpar that you buy nowadays, you know. And our temp gauge went up to halfway. Probably should still do the same. Both our lights are working. Yeah. We don't have that front shroud on either. It's supposed to duct the air up through it, but we're sitting still. Doesn't seem very hot. The gauge says it's hotter than what it is. Yeah, that's not hot at all. Alright, we're getting there. It's kind of hard for you to see inside there, but there is a shift linkage. How's that? This is the bottom of the shift linkage. It's got a bunch of crud and grease and everything kind of kicking off of it. Maybe I'm gonna let this thing cool down so we can start playing with that radiator. But maybe we'll knock some of this crap off of here and we'll shoot it with some coil if we can get some kind of I think there's a linkage in there somewhere. And we'll spray it and let that soak. Let's see if we can free up the pivots a little bit. And then hit it with grease again. A good bath. There we go. She's going. Yeah, I'm gonna go to lunch and we'll meet back right here and we'll put with that radiator. I would say that is one tiny radiator. I think our shot is that this is not going to break off. Yeah, maybe. Nothing's coming out though. There we go. I released a cap up top, might help us. I think it came with new radiator hoses too. There's a box over of all the stuff I took out of the truck when I got it. There were some hoses there. So while we're in here, right? That should be good. I'm going to open that cap, see if it flows more. I don't want it to overdo it though. Can I reach it? Can I reach it from? No difference. But I was able to get it from under the truck instead of going in it. Yeah, they ain't coming off. That side. I have to cut those clamps off. Actually, probably leave that one right on the radiator if we got a new hose. Yeah, there's a bunch of them in here. Take those. I only think it has two. I don't know why there's four. Snug. Three to go. Let's see if she wants to play well. I have to drop out the bottom, I don't know. Let's go see what we get. Alright. Oh, you know what it is? There's a throttle. So not for the throttle. Going through the radiator. Alright, let's go out the bottom. So be it. Dump it in the bucket. There's a throttle. This right here. Going around right through the side of the gas. And before and hopefully after, a couple things I'm seeing right away is that outlet is much smaller than that, so whatever hose we're going to have is not going to fit over there. Here's where it was bolted. There's nothing here for that. Seems like they have it on that flange, just kind of reverse what I need. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to help us at all. We may have to drill into this. And I haven't measured across. Looks like the height looks pretty decent. Let me kind of shore them up. Yeah, that part looks pretty good. The top looks a little larger than that one. I think we could probably finesse that one on there. Let's measure the width going across and make sure that we have, you know, we'll be able to line up to the holes at all. That one, we do give or take too. So that's 19.5 to the outer edges of the flange. This is 18.5. What's it to the holes? So it's 18.5 center to center. And 18.5 is going to put us to the edge. I don't know, maybe we can, so it's a little skinnier. And this flange is a little fatter. I'm going to go look. I'm going to go see if we have enough room to maybe index it forward to catch this one. Because this probably looks like what it should be, right? Can we just cut them off and flip them over? Yeah. Plus we've got to make clearance for that line came out, the throttle. Exited out of that hole right there. All right, I'm going to see if there's enough room to put that maybe on the forward side. Now, unfortunately, the fan is right there. The fan is probably about 3/4 of an inch away from the radiator. So we're going to work with what we got, I guess. I wonder if they're going to be aluminum. Grab a magnet real quick. I'm pretty sure that's aluminum. Yeah. They're going to cut it off and weld it on the other one. I'm going to come up with something. I may just get some big ass fender washers. I'll mark where these go. I'll mark where they go, and we'll have to give like a little bit of a recess, and maybe I'll just do a big fender washer. I think there's enough to capture it. It's just not going to be in the center of the bracket, you know. It's going in. Yes, it is. Cobbled everything else on this. Might as well cobble this. Gas pedal. Yeah, I did a little bit more chopping on. I cut these sections out so I have access to the bolts and get a ratchet on those 4 corners. The little recess for the throttle linkage that goes through it. Like I said, I think we can catch it with some fender washers. The bolts will be in those holes, just not, you know, all the way in the, not captured all the way around. I think on hoses, I think the top one, I think we could fudge. I don't think there's that much of a difference between the two. And, you know, of course, the other side of the car is still correct. So, the bottom one, I might try putting an exhaust spreader in it for exhaust pipe. And put it in hot water, maybe see if we can get it to grow large enough to get it on there. Maybe. Which is, I think it's this one. It's pretty much dead even on size right now. I may try doing that before I put it in the car. I'm going to go take a double look, make sure if that's going correct. Make sure we're not supposed to have that. Huh? Where's the old one? Make sure they match first. Do they? I would say that the oil-soaked part is supposed to be the bottom. Let's try it without it first. That's the spreader I was talking about. Let's give her a little. Look at that. I'm gonna punch it and put little lines in my hand. Come on, baby. Better make it face the right direction, too. There you have it. Oh, yeah. She's in. I'm going to call that for the win. Yeah, it's sitting down about an inch or two. And the problem is, it's running into that linkage for the throttle. It does a bend in it, so we have to get rid of. Might as well just get rid of all that. We don't need it. Make it easier to kind of slide it up in there too. So apparently, I did have the hose upside down. Not that there was much of a difference, but one side had a larger flare than the other, and I wasn't able to get the hose on the back on the engine. So we had two sets of hoses, which was awesome. So I cut the other flare off, and then sleeved it and made an adapter for it. I was fighting with it, and you're like, this is dumb. Let's just go cut up the other hose. So that's good, other than filling it up, and I have to go find a piece of hose for the overflow. I'd get an overflow bottle actually at some point. That way it draws it back in when it cools off. And we got her topped off. Let's make sure we are in neutral. No power, because I didn't turn the power on. There we go. Fire right up, no choke. That's good. Figuring I have to go throw that cap on though for a little bit. It's got to burp the air out of it. The thermostat's going to have to open. Then we can top it back off and shut it off before it overflows. Pushing bubbles. I wonder if we can get it by the door and get it running. Get it off this lift. Go figure. It's only been a couple years. I think I'm going to grab the floor jack and rotate it around instead of me trying to play this game of zigzagging it in and out of there. That would just suck. That would be the perfect ending of the day, right? So we are looking pretty good. The overflow is dripping a little. I'm going to let it cool down. I'm sure the thermostat has opened and done its thing. I think we just kind of need to let it cool down. I can tap it back off. Generally, when you have an overflow bottle, it'll push into the overflow, and then as it cools off, it draws the stuff back in again. And we are a little... Yeah, when you're running, it's not that high. It comes down. I think it gets a little bit of a soak when you shut it off. And we don't have that front pan on. There's a pan that covers the whole base of it, which is not there. It kind of directs the air up into the radiator a little bit better. So we'll see how it does. It doesn't seem, I mean, it's not hot at all. Anyway, I am very happy with finally getting to this point. At least it's mobile on its own. You can hop in and fire it up. Still got plenty more work to do. Well, guys, that was good for a quick little shakedown run. Nothing fell off of it. Still needs some love. When I was in third gear, you floor it, the clutch is slipping, and you let off, it grabs, but the clutch is slipping a little bit. Plus, it's got some chatter. We may or may not be doing a clutch in it. We got to finish put the doghouse back together. We have a passenger seat that's got to go in, and pretty much a floor mat. There's not much to interior in this thing. Oh, a headliner. I got over on the bench over there. I got the old headliner that was in it. It was out of the truck. It was sitting in the back. It was all lumpy and everything. I got logs sitting on it, trying to flatten it out, and use it for a pattern. We'll try to make us up a new one. We gotta get the back bumper on it. Gotta get mirrors on it. Do not have mirrors. Makes a little. That's what I was trying to back up cautiously because I couldn't see. And just little goofy things to still kind of go chase and take care of. But it's looking pretty good. It's not going to go back on that lift anymore, hopefully. It'll just go on a big lift. I want to get underneath it. I want to finish painting the black, all the areas I've missed. And on the other lift, it's easier because it's open in the center of it. We're trying to go underneath the frame of the other one, crawling around than a creeper. Eating the paint wasn't that enjoyable. So I want to take care of that, and then I'm going to spray it with oil underneath to kind of pickle it from any kind of corrosion. Another week or two, we should be out of salt weather. Right now all the roads are covered in salt still, and today we have like 60-mile-an-hour winds. So, wheels look awesome. I put the larger ones back on. I had a concern whether these are going to rubber or not. I rolled the lip on the inside here, then I made bump stops. I increased the height of the bump stop so the body could only come down so far. Whether they're going to hit or not, I don't know. I don't see any scrapes in it yet. But, putting some weight in the back of it and giving her a couple of speed bumps with speed may tell a different story. I have another set of wheels for it, but I like these because the tires match, front to rear. I think they are both 15s, and the other set is a 14s, something like that. Maybe the other way around, the other ones are 15s and these are 14s. But these tires match and the rims match. They're all set that were put together. And I have another set are a little shallower that won't touch. We'll see what happens with that. Alright guys, well I think we're to the point where we're going to go wrap it up. I may or may not make another video on it, depending how this video does. If it does poorly, I'll just kind of wrench on it and get it knocked out. Maybe we'll go for a test drive during the spring. And if it does well, I'll maybe do one more on it. Hey, we're that close. Yes, we are. So for springtime, I can put the plates on it too. It's registered. I just didn't put the plates on it yet. Alright guys, with that, we're going to go sign off. And I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me. And you could have warned me I was going to blow up that gas tank. How many of you there were like yelling, don't, you're gonna, too late. Lesson learned. All right guys, with that, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you later.